Today I'm going to show you a simple, easy find here that you can make a lot of money on. This is no fantasy piece. This is something you can actually find right this very second all over the place, including thrift stores. I've pulled hundreds of these out in my days from thrift stores as well. Hey, it's Don. Today we're going to look at a couple of items. I'm going to show you a whole other area of things that we find routinely. The first time I found what I'm going to show you was at a thrift store. So I know for sure they're at thrift stores. I found hundreds of these in the last 20 years at thrift stores. Estate sales, garage sales, church sales are killer for these items as well. We're going to talk about songbooks. Now this is a songbook, Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA. It's got every song for the guitar inside here. Now, I paid $1 for a couple different ones of these. I'll show you the best one in just a second here. Now, this isn't a super huge pricey item, but I should easily get 14, 15 bucks from my dollar investment. Not super huge, but some of these we've sold for hundreds of dollars. 90s alternative rock, metal, man, they're off the chain right now. They're going for super huge amounts of money. Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, any of that kind of stuff. Stone Temple Pilots is a huge one too. Big fan of Stone Temple Pilots myself, so that's one I always look for. Love the artworks on the cover of those as well. Now, I paid $1 a piece for a couple. I'm going to show you this next one here. Now, this is Elton John's Ultimate Collection. Now, the price tag on this one alone is $50. It's out of print. It's a 2-book set. Again, $1 for this. These are pulled out of a bookshelf. So don't tell me you're not going to be able to find these. They're not going to be with the sheet music most of the time. Most people assume they're books and throw them in the book section. When Savers was open here, we used to find tons of these. Every time I went to Savers locally, I could pick up 1 or 2 at least. Again, it's not super good money for every single one, but for $1 investment, after fees, after everything else, you're getting 10 bucks back. And it's easy. Everybody wants Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA. Elton John's hot right now as well, too. Now, this sells for 100 bucks right this second. There's not many of these that show up. Even individual ones you can get 20 or so bucks for if you don't have the actual full-fledged one. Now, we're going to hop over. We're going to look at a few of these. I'll show you these exact examples on what they sell for as well. Show you a few other ones because this is a hot area that we've been into this one probably about 20 years or so, selling these songbooks, they're called. And I don't care if they're new, old, or not. I've sold songbooks back to Glenn Miller times, even before that. Back into the 20s, songbooks were very popular. So like Glenn Ford or something like that. Some of the early band instructors and things. Some of that stuff goes for some insane amounts of money. So I've messed with this field for a very, very long time. It's a toss-up whether the songbooks are worth more versus, say, ragtime sheet music from the turn of last century. Some of those can go for hundreds of dollars as well, too. But songbooks are something that's easy to find because it's not usually mixed up with the sheet music, as I said. Every bookshelf you go to, if you go to estate sales, look there. Look on the bookshelves. If you go to the garage sales, ask if they have any sheet music, any books or anything. Did their kids play guitar? If you see a guitar somewhere at a garage sale, I always ask, did they have the sheet music for it? Now, I've seen people recycle sheet music in the paper bins. So this is something a lot of people just don't get that carries a huge amount of value. Let's hop over right now and look at some prime examples as well as show you the routine values on what I just showed you. So we're in eBay right now, and we're just looking in Terapeak, and we're going to look at the songbook of Elton John first. Now, this is the exact same one that I have here, and you can see one sold for $99 and another one sold for $80. Now, I'm not really concerned with what the other one sold for overall, because if you have the correct, title, SEO, and all that kind of stuff, usually I can sell something for more than other people do. Many people can. It's not just me. So if you're careful with what you do, you're not worried to rush to sell it quick and all that, you can get some pretty good money for these sorts of things. I expect, as I said, to get around 100 bucks or so for that, pre-taxes. Now, if you look on here, there's just one single book. It's only got one of them, and they're trying to sell it for 20. Most people aren't going to want to buy a VG book of a boxed set on its own because you're missing half of it. You're missing the book, you're missing the storage, you're missing all of that kind of stuff. And this bottom one here is not even the same actual book. So sales history are what's more important when you're looking up stuff like this. At least these aren't like-to-like items. This is missing something. This isn't even the same. This is just one single lesson book here. So these are the deciding factors here. There is nobody else who has a complete setup now that I can find at all. So being the only one that's complete in the binder, in the cardboard box for it, I should easily be able to get at least 100, as I said. So you've got to play the range on the information you're looking at here. There's only comparables are sold. So I can go by that as this one here. Now with Bruce Springsteen. Now obviously the first one's a signed edition, which doesn't mean anything. It's not part of what we're looking for. Here's the songbook. So as I said, $15 is what I'm going to try to get out of this book. You can see one sold here for $20. You've got some $13. And again, some of these have $10 shipping on it. This one's got $4 shipping. This one's free. So $15 is a legitimate cost on this. It would go medium mail too because it's sheet music. Some are selling it a little cheaper. This is an auction. So you see the two auctions sold for the least amount right here. So that's what I look at too. A lot of people say, well, auctions are always better. If it's a common item, they are not better because there's a bunch of them out there. You started at a list price. You've got to get the right person on there at the right time, and that doesn't happen with stuff like this. So if you notice, all of the ones that are fixed price sold for more money, which is the only way I do stuff like this. Now, let's just look up songbook. And now, where would you find songbook on eBay? You'd find it in musical instruments and gear. That's where all the songbooks are usually placed. Now, if you look through here, and we're not going to dig into each individual one here, but you can kind of get a gist on what's going on, what sells. Here's the Smiths songbook in rare Louder Than Bombs off-the-record band score tab. So it's basically just all sheet music. This one went, the Smiths, again, this is the 90s, $445. Now here's a collection that somebody just blew out of 70 vintage songbooks from the 1970s, $421. Now in some cases, stuff like this, I would chances are sell individually. You could have possibly doubled your money depending on what was in the lot itself. Now here's Xanadu. This is Xanadu. It's not autographed. There's nothing special. It's just hard to come by. I've run into the sheet music for Xanadu, but I've never seen the songbook. And Xanadu is one of the top ones to look for in that genre, that type of music. I would almost call it disco, I would say that. Now here's Two of a Kind, the soundtrack from the Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta movie. $299, basically 300 books. It covers the whole movie, I would imagine. Again, here's another one for Xanadu to give you an idea that, yes, Xanadu is one of the hotter ones. Well, I do listen to Kiss. I grew up on Kiss. This is the Paul Stanley solo album songbook. There was 4 solo albums that came out. They each had their own, $282. Gene Simmons would have probably went for a little more, would be my guess. Again, here's Xanadu. Prince. Prince has skyrocketed in price for these sorts of items. So if you find a Prince songbook, it's usually pretty good. Overkill. Here's heavy metal here. Same basic principle, $260. Here's another Paul Stanley. Again, take some time to look through there. As I said in the beginning here, the best stuff, the best place to find these are on bookshelves of estate sales, in the book section of a thrift store, in places like that. I've pulled out hundreds of these from places just like that. Usually it's $1 or $2 at best, and they usually sell for some pretty darn good money. As you can see, the prices right here. Well, there we have it. Hopefully that gave you some ideas, some thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
He's on the camp, his name is Jack. You just can't keep him in the sack, 'cause Lego makes him quite a whack. It's Jack the
keeps him up all night. He's a pint-sized dynamo, a Legoland construction pro. Jack, he's a Lego maniac. Jack, he's a Lego maniac.
Lego Pirates and Castle sets, each sold separately from Lego Systems.